Item number 4, presentation by Prairie Lands Groundwater Conservation District. I believe Mr. Cockwright has a short presentation for us.
Thank you, Judge Chambers.
Thank you, sir.
It is good to be with you this morning, and we won't take a lot of your time, but we'll tell you a little bit about the district in case there are new people on the commission that maybe weren't here when the district was started, and others in the courtroom. My name is Jim Cockwright. I'm the general manager of the Prairie Lands Groundwater Conservation District, of which Somervell County is one of the 4 counties that make the district up. This district, quickly, a little history, came about because the Texas Commission of Environmental Quality came into the North Texas region area and deemed it a priority groundwater management area. This was done really in the late 90s. So 2009, 2011, and through that time, these counties were getting together, the counties being Somervell, Johnson, Ellis, and Hill. And those 4 went together and carved out the Prairie Lands Groundwater Conservation District, and it's been in place ever since. Our duties are to conserve, protect, monitor, measure the groundwater of the area, and to inform and educate the public about its nature, about its use, about water conservation. So, as the district has matured and developed, we have several things underway in place that are carrying out those challenges and tasks, what we've been called to do. We're monitoring groundwater in these 4 counties. I'm very pleased to say that we've probably got we do have more monitor wells in Somervell County than any of the other counties. And there's a couple of reasons for that, 2 or 3. Great group of people in Somervell County to work with. And your residents, citizens, want to do the best they can to preserve water, conserve water, not only for their use, but for the future. They have offered wells to be monitored. And another reason is that when we went to seek a field tech last year, the applicant that just rose to the top was serving that time as the county extension agent for Somervell County. So we thank you for sharing him with us. And Sean Davis is here today. He is doing us a really good job. We also have a great working relationship with the county court, county judge, the county commissioners. We've had one small incident last month that had happened over a period of months, but was taken care of and cured, and a water waste was stopped. Working with Somervell County, especially Judge Chambers and Commissioner Curtis, and I appreciate them. And it was a co-effort to get this done on both parts of the county and Prairie Lands, and I appreciate your all's help. I have another staff member with us today, Karen Siddall, who you'll see in a minute. Karen is our information education person. She works with public relations director of the district. So she frequently comes to Glen Rose to speak, and has worked with various groups here in the community, and always looks forward to that. So she's another outreach we have, and you'll see both Karen and Sean frequently in Somervell County, and I'll be here as well. We have brought today, and Karen, you're free to go ahead and hand those to the commissioners, our 2014 annual report. We're not this late in preparing it, we're just this late in getting over here. And I apologize for that, but this is a report of the district's activities in 2014. And one of the things that occurred in 2014 was the repayment of all the monies that were loaned to the district to get started. The 4 counties loaned us our startup monies, and we were able to pay all 4 counties back and maybe it was right the first of the year 2015, actually. But everyone's paid back in the county. I mean, the district does not have any debt currently. But this report gives you a rundown on all our activities for 2014. I think in the last few days you have received probably email or I think you got hard copies, come think of it. No, you did. Of our semi-annual report for 2015, so you already have that. With that, I'll close and say that if there's something that you are curious about, something you have a comment about, a question about concerning groundwater in the state of Texas, in this district, but in the state of Texas especially, contact our district. We're easy to find. Our office currently is in the Liberty Hotel in Cleveland, and we'd be glad to answer questions and work with you on any issue. So again, I thank you for the opportunity to be here today. I know you've got a busy agenda. Don't want to take too much time, but I'll be certainly willing to answer any questions if there are any.
Based on your current monitoring cycles, let's say the second committee, what are we seeing in levels since in this county? And I'm curious because of the water conservation, the water district tying into the city and the power plant. So are we seeing an increase in levels?
We are. I wish I had numbers on top of my head, Commissioner. I don't, but we are seeing an increase that started when Somervell County Water District out there started taking on so many customers, and the power plant went off groundwater. They only use it for backup, and I think they've got one facility that when it's in operation just has groundwater for restrooms and drinking water. But they've done a good job. Somervell County is our star pupil in going from groundwater to surface. And I will say that's one of our long-term goals in all counties is to move people off of groundwater use onto more surface water and using the groundwater for backup and peak days. Sean, have you got any report currently on some of your monitoring over here measurements?
I had told Commissioner Curtis a bit earlier that we have one out on the Dinosaur Valley Park. I have one out on 56 by the plant. I have two more out on the reservoir. I have one on the north side and one on the south side. And the levels, the one that was in the Biloxi, actually, that one come way up real fast because it's close to the river there. When we had all the rain, it rose considerable. The other ones are gradually, continually increasing, but only about a foot or two that you see. But it hasn't decreased whatsoever. So it is a positive thing for sure.
Well, a foot or two, a foot or better increase is a substantial amount more in that apple.
Yes, sir. And that's, that's something that I'm still learning in doing that. But it was amazing to us, and we haven't figured it out exactly, but the one over that's right on the Dinosaur, or it's close to the river, and so that thing rose, 30-something feet in all the flooding and stuff we were having, and it's kind of stayed up there. I thought, well, I had a cap on it. I was wondering if the water was running over in it, but it that's coming from underground.
It's probably, 300-400 yards from the river?
Yeah, it's a little further than that, but the well's only about 80 feet deep. So the water level was at 50 feet when I put the equipment in. It rose to nearly 10 foot just below the surface.
I understand also the city put their 5 wells and they throttled them back and idled them back, that it helped us a lot.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Did help.
So they test them once a month or so, usually in emergencies.
Right.
I tried to put a monitoring well in the number 2 over by Heritage Park, but we weren't able to get our equipment in there. But that would have been a really good one. I wish that I could have actually got that.
good. I'm glad to hear that we're increasing our groundwater levels.
The Somervell County definitely is increasing. I want to say the year before I came, most of the wells over here that my predecessor had checked were up 2 to 3 feet. Karen has handed each one of you one of these annual reports, and I think even some thumb drives that have that annual report if you prefer to see that on the screen. Karen, anything that you need to add at this point before we stop here?
Only if anyone needs a speaker to come out and talk about groundwater, water conservation. If you know anybody, I'm more than happy to come out and put on a show.
I would suggest you contact an extension agent, local extension agent. They have different audiences that would, master gardeners, 4-H, for example, that I think would be interested in education.
Let me wrap up by reporting on 2 major projects that one was accomplished and one's underway. When this district started, the state of Texas is divided into groundwater management areas. There are 16 of them in the state, and we're in groundwater management area 8, GMA 8. Stretches from the Red River south down to Lake Buchanan. So that is a long, long area. Actually, there's 11 active groundwater districts within that area. One of the districts is not active, there's a total of 12. But we have to get together and put together what we call desired future conditions. We have to look out 50 years into the future and plan for how we would like these aquifers to look or how we think they should look. We had found that when the initial plan for this region was made, it was based on very little data input from this area. Most of it is from down south, and there were only 2 or 3 organized districts at the time that put that together. And they knew nothing about this area up here either. So 4 districts, ours being one of them, went together, and over a period of the last basically 2.5, 3 years, working with a large groundwater consultant, put together a new model of the Trinity Woodbine Aquifer for North Texas. We're quite proud of it. It has the most data in it that any model has ever had. We got data from the Texas Water Development Board, the Railroad Commission, Texas Commission of Environmental Quality, and the information each of the districts had to put this together, and probably the best firm available to put this kind of thing together did it. It's very expensive, but it has been completed and even adopted by the Texas Water Development Board as the official model for the North Texas area of the Trinity and Woodbine aquifers. We think that's quite an accomplishment. Now we will take that model and feed numbers into it to make projections to see where our DFC will need to be set. But it's more complex than that. We also will be working with individuals, with counties in the next year as we assess the socioeconomic effects of such model on the region, any effect it would have on private property rights, which is a huge issue with us. The district was really founded in response to TCEQ's findings on the priority groundwater management area, but it was organized to protect the property right of the individual. And that's long been in our enabling legislation and all our goals ever since. But we're required by the state to do what we're doing. It's required by the state legislature, and we'll be getting reports together within a year that bring a lot of this together, and there will be public hearings, public meetings, and I'm sure there'll be a public meeting and probably a public hearing here in Somervell County at the appropriate time, maybe a year from now. But keep tuned to that. The other project that is enormous, really, we're talking about information education. We are equipping a 38-foot gooseneck trailer with educational exhibits that demonstrate what an aquifer is. It has a mock-up model of the aquifers we're in, Commissioner Curtis. It has how a well operates, a working well. It'll show a lot of things. It has a calculator in for people to calculate their household water use each day. So I think we've got, what, 5 exhibits in the trailer. This is phase 1. We have been promised we'll have it in the first 2-3 days of October. That trailer will be available for viewing by groups from kindergarten up to senior citizens. And we'll be bringing it to Glen Rose, Somervell County, events where people need to see the information on the groundwater of the county, of the Prairie Lands District. So we're looking forward to fall and getting that out in the public to help educate and inform the public. With that, I'm going to close. We thank you again for this opportunity and always look forward to working with the court in Somervell County.
Thank you, Ms. Conrad, appreciate it. Thank you. And Ms. Conrad,
Yes, sir.
correct me if there's anything on this next one. Make sure I get the name right. Item number 5, consider take action to reappoint the director of the Prairie Lands Groundwater Conservation District Board of Directors for a term of 4 years to expire August 2019. That person is Craig Dotson. He's expiring and he's eligible for re-election and has indicated he is willing to serve. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
And I believe I gave all y'all a copy of that letter that he had turned in.
Each county in the district provides 2 board members. We have 8 board members. The 2 from Somervell are Marty McPherson and Craig Dotson. And Craig's term is up, as the judge has said. And certainly he's agreed, and the board recommends his renomination, his renaming.
All right. Yes, sir.
Make a motion that we appoint Craig Dotson to the Prairie Lands Groundwater Conservation District Board of Directors for a 4-year term.
I have a motion by John. I have a second by Larry. Is there any further questions, concerns, or issues? All in favor of said motion? That's 5 for, 0 against. Thank you again, Mr. Conrad.